going to, first of all, thank all of you for attending and for volunteers and everyone who came and interacted with us, not only here in the sessions, but also on Flipgrid and in social media. We really, really appreciate all of you joining our EdCamp this year.
And don't forget, you guys can always go back. If you missed a session that you really wanted to see, maybe you had 2 of them that you wanted to see at the same time. We've recorded all of them, so you can go back to the session grid and go to that, and you can go and find the session that you want, or you can continue a session you went to on Flipgrid. And both of those have to do, you can get your MNU credit, which I'm going to let Juliana talk about a little bit more.
One more thing, I'm also working to put the recorded sessions on our website. They are not currently there, but should be there in the next couple of days. So you can also go back to there to access any of those recordings that you want to.
Okay, so it's not too late to sign up for MNU credits. You can do it anytime. And as I mentioned at the beginning, you have 14 days from yesterday to complete the STAR assignment, the first part only. And you can choose between half credit or 1 credit. And there is also opportunities to get more credits. If you are in a district that requires you to have a certificate of attendance to prove that you attended EdCamp, I'm gonna drop a link on the chat for that certificate. And I will also drop a link for more information about MNU credits. And I think that's it for me.
And they have until tomorrow to sign up for MNU credits, correct?
Josh, that's a great question. I am not sure, but I do. What I heard is that a lot of people sign up for the credits after the event. So I'm assuming tomorrow is okay because it's after the event. Contact MNU if you have any questions about that. Thank you.
All right. Hey, you guys, thank you so much for attending EdCamp. One of the cool things about EdCamp is just connecting and learning with alongside everybody and setting up those collaborative partnerships, and how awesome that is. So I am going to drop a link into the chat. If you would like to purchase an EdCamp t-shirt, the cool thing about this is that when I wear mine, people ask me about it. And then that eventually shows as new participants and new collaborative partners and new people to connect with. So that's a great way to kind of invite other people and keep the chatter going about how cool EdCamp is.
All right, and I have some thank yous as well. So I would like to jump here to my screen. Are you guys seeing my slides? I thought I asked, hang on. I thought I said part of it, so you don't have to.
Hey, I think there was a quick question in the chat about how long the videos will be up. Since Jenica's putting those on the website, they'll be accessible basically indefinitely, but we'll at least have it open until your deadline for MNU credit.
Awesome, thanks. All right, so first of all, I want to thank this team for making this happen, because without them, this would have never taken place. We've been meeting monthly since like September, I believe. And they've been dedicated to being at those meetings. We meet kind of late in the evening trying to get our kids to bed, and then we meet after that. And it's not only those monthly meetings, it takes a lot of time outside of that to organize donations and the Google Docs and getting everything organized, training volunteers, making sure everything's running smoothly. so that you can just enjoy the weekend. So I want to thank all of these members on our team. We have one representative from each district in Johnson County, and we have one outside of Johnson County to kind of give us that insight of someone that's not kind of in our little bubble. And we may be looking to grow that team, but it's been so nice having such a dedicated group of people. The other group of people I want to thank is our volunteers. They have been helping run prizes, the Twitter and Instagram accounts. They were session managers, helping manage the chat, letting people in. They also helped run our tech help, so watching the email, responding to questions. So we are just so thankful for them because it's allowed us to actually enjoy the event as well, and kind of sharing that burden of keeping up with everything. And so I really appreciate that. And hopefully in a brick and mortar building next year, we'll need even more volunteers because we'll be spread out and need physical people in person helping with that. So we have a feedback form later that you can definitely tell us if you want to be one of those volunteers. Honestly, I was thinking a few weeks ago, getting ready for the event, and I was thinking I always kind of share like some kind of encouraging little message before we go on our merry way. And I just couldn't think of anything. I was like, I don't know, maybe it's cheesy. I don't really have anything new to say. And I thought about just totally forgetting it and just being like, whatever, I'm not going to say anything. But then the other day I put my foot in my mouth and I was glad I did because the person on the other end actually called me out. So I was in a discussion where I mentioned that I think a district can box teachers in and that it prohibits professional growth. But the other person quickly said that the district is not solely responsible for professional growth of teachers. And she went on to say that she knew that I had gotten where I was, not because of any district that I had been in, but because I had taken the initiative to read, to research, to attend conferences, and to get involved with professional organizations. What's crazy is I know this. I believe that teachers taking ownership of their professional growth, I believe in that. I think I even talked about this last year at the EdCamp. It was one of my little encouraging messages that you need to find your tribe of people, even if that means going beyond your school or your district walls. And so after spending pretty solid 10 minutes on that topic last year, I was reminded that it's easy to fall back on the district or the school that we're in as an excuse. See, the very first time I sought out a new district, one of my main reasons for leaving was I felt like I wasn't growing as a professional. And I still remember sitting in the interview and the principal asked me why I was leaving. And I told her, I'm seeking a district that offers good professional development, a place where I can grow. And I will tell you that district offered amazing professional development, and I did grow as an educator. But as I looked around, I saw that not every educator in that district took advantage of the PD, and not every educator was growing. And so that's when I realized that no matter how much wonderful, enriching PD a district provides, it doesn't necessarily directly correlate with professional growth of its educators. And eventually the district PD did not offer me as much growth as it did initially, because I was finally figuring out like my teaching style. I knew what my strengths and my weaknesses were, and I needed more specific PD to meet my needs. And I understand there are totally district trainings that are beneficial to all teachers that we have to do. But just like our students, we also have individual needs. Now, some districts are more in tune to providing what teachers need. They have figured out ways to offer choice in PD sessions. They have instructional coaches there to work with a team or even an individual on setting goals. Some districts have simply created a culture that embraces professional growth, which is incredibly contagious once you get that culture going. But before flexible PD and instructional coaches existed, a few colleagues encouraged me to get it connected via Twitter and join professional organizations, kind of like ISTE. When you surround yourself by others who are growing, it creates a spark that makes you hungry to learn more and more. And if you don't believe me, I encourage you to read Jennifer Gonzalez's blog post called The Marigold Effect. Soon, I was joining Twitter chats, reading professional books back to back, and attending conferences that required a plane ticket. Through this journey, I worked on building a strong why. You see, at first, I would read anything and everything education, anything I could get my hands on. I would go to any conference that could work in my schedule. But I slowly realized that I was kind of spreading myself thin, and I needed to get back to my strengths and weaknesses, and building a why helped me do that. And if you feel like you need to do this, or you want to know how or what I'm talking about, I encourage you to watch Simon Sinek's TED Talk on building your why, because whether it's for your personal life or professional life, it's an amazing TED Talk that's worth listening to. But anyways, with a clear why, I now have a narrow focus, and I run everything through my personal why filter. Some of those questions include, like, does it match my teaching style? Does it help me reach my school or district goals? And most importantly, will it help me be the best educator possible for my students? And the last one is the most important. Everything should be based on what's best for our students. So most of you are in one of two boats today. This is your first experience outside of your district. Maybe you were nervous about registering or even attending this event. And it may be out of your comfort zone to spend the weekend talking to other educators. You might have even considered binge watching Netflix instead, but I hope you are happy with your choice to click on the Zoom link. The other boat contains educators that have already found that thirst for connecting and collaborating with other educators. And hopefully this event reignited your passion, because I think we all know it's been a tiring year. No matter which boat you are in, I want to wrap up by talking about harmony. Now, you might have anticipated that I was going to say balance, because we always hear people saying you need to have balance in your life, but I'm purposely not using the word balance. One of my principals once asked me, Ariel, do you ever sleep? And I said, yeah, actually I do. I really like sleep. And I usually get 7 to 8 hours of sleep, in fact. So listen, I love this career, and it does spill well beyond 8 to 4 for me. So let's get to why I'm not going to tell you to have balance in your life. If we look at the definition of balance, you'll see that it says an even distribution. And I do not have an even distribution of all the parts of my life: my faith, my husband, my kids, my church, my job. Harmony, on the other hand, can be defined as a pleasing arrangement of parts. I cannot evenly distribute all of these things in my life, but I have learned to keep those parts of my life, the aspects of my life, in check to assure harmony. Let me give you an example. Shortly after I had kids, I started running, and I loved running. I ran 5 days a week. I ran half marathons regularly, loved it. But as my kids started getting older, they had activities that kept me busy. And I was also taking on leadership roles in my school, which also required more time. So I just stopped running, didn't have time for it anymore. But soon I had back pain, I had foot pain, I had plantar fasciitis, it was horrible. And because of all that pain I was experiencing, I was no longer enjoying the things that I love to do with my kids, and even enjoying my job. Being on my feet all day was miserable. It was because I left one part of my life, I let one part get off track, that I no longer had harmony with all those aspects of my life. They weren't evenly distributed. They're never going to be. But when you let one thing go, like self-care, it starts to affect the other parts of your life. So while I'm encouraging you to find ways to seek what you need to grow, whether it's STEM, special education, structured literacy, MTSS, standards-based grading, project-based learning, station rotation, there's a million different things that we talked about this weekend. I urge you to be cognizant that your life is in harmony. Rather than take away time from another part of your life, be creative with your time. Find a podcast to listen to while you walk, run, bike, commute. I do this often. I plug in a podcast while I run. You can use Voxer, which is actually how our EdCamp team, what we use to communicate. You can record your voice like walkie-talkies on your phone, but it's a great way to just talk. You know, you may not find a time that you can meet up at the coffee shop, but you've got a commute that you can talk to your friend real quick. Scroll social media while waiting in line, spark new ideas. I know we all already do this probably way too much. So you're probably like, why are you suggesting this? But if you're really intentional and you have like specific Facebook educator groups that you're in, or another helpful hint is on Twitter, you can make lists, and those lists can kind of help you narrow in those people that you are getting ideas from. And that way you can use up that time while you're waiting in line and get some new ideas and be inspired. You could wake up 15 minutes early and try to write or take time to reflect. Join an educational organization that aligns with your passions, or step up to the plate, take a risk, offer to present at a conference so you can attend for free. And that was actually expert advice from Josh Stock many years ago. I kept seeing that he was going to all these conferences and I was like, dude, how do you go to all these? Like, they're so expensive. And he said, I just offer to present, like start with one, put together what you're passionate about and go for it. And I did. And MACE was actually the very first conference that I presented at. And it was awesome. I was really nervous. It is kind of scary, but you'll get through it, I promise. People outside of the field of education don't understand the level of this dedication. My husband's extra efforts in reading, writing blog posts, taking courses, working after hours, it helps him climb a career ladder. In our field, we do it for the kids and our colleagues. A lot of people ask me if I do all this because I want to be a principal someday, because that seems like the only path up. But I have no desire to be a principal. We need more teacher leaders. There's no fancy title that goes with it. And unfortunately, no extra pay. But it makes us better educators and improves our schools. I once saw a quote that read something like this: I want to invest in the people who will be taking care of me in the nursing home someday. That's a picture of my grandma when she was in the nursing home. If we want to invest in the people, the young people of our world, they're going to be taking care of us someday. We need to take care of them while we can. So, bottom line, if you are in a district that offers wonderful professional development, don't let it go to waste. I've been in that district and I watched so many educators gripe and complain. If you don't like how it's going, if you don't think it's meeting your needs, speak up, get involved, be a part of it. If you're in a district that can't or doesn't offer much, don't let it be your excuse either. There are so many ways in our world today that you can connect with educators right from your very own home. YouTube has a wealth of knowledge. People offer free courses all the time. If there's something you're passionate about, I'm almost positive you can find some free resource or educator out there willing to help you. So no matter what situation we are in, we all have to take ownership of our professional growth. So principals, admin, instructional coaches, educational leaders that are in this Zoom room, ask yourself, have you created a culture that encourages and celebrates professional growth? And if you're a teacher or a staff member in a building, how can you promote professional growth and support this type of culture? Don't be the one that gripes. Don't be the one that complains. Try to make the best of it. Try to encourage those to find the good in it. And again, if you don't like how it's being done, get involved. Try to figure out how you can improve it in your district. With that, our last little piece that we're going to send a link to here, and I'm going to stop sharing, is the Jamboard link. And I am dropping it right now. If it fills up, I have a second Jamboard link that you can access that I'll drop in, but we'll just start with one and see if we can all get in there. Jump in there, drop in your Twitter handle, drop in your Instagram handle so we can keep connecting, so we can keep this going. There's 3 reflection questions. One of them is what I just asked you. How can you promote and support that culture of professional growth? So that's one of the questions. One of the other questions is any reflections, notes, ideas that you got from this weekend that you love? And I think the 4th one is goals that you have. The last 2 are the same questions we asked last year, and we had lots of good stuff in there. So if you don't mind jumping on the Jamboard and filling those things out, I guess I could maybe share the screen as things pop up. And then we have a feedback form, or we have 2 things left, I guess, that we will jump to.
All right, Ariel, you wanted me to jump in with the feedback form real quick?
Yeah, go ahead and go for it.
First of all, can I get an applause emoji or round thank you to Ariel for that inspiring closing? Wow. Wow, that was phenomenal. And we are so grateful for you, Ariel. You are an awesome leader. Lots of love for you in the chat. So take a minute to look back, Ariel, at the chat. Okay, we don't want to bombard you with a bunch of information, but somebody just posted the Simon Sinek Why link. Thank you, guys. This group is on it. So I love this group. We are going to ask you to fill out a feedback form for us. And we did this last year, and it is going to go out because I'm going to put it in the chat. But we would love, love, love your input, ideas. What worked well with EdCamp for you? And what would you suggest, recommendations for changes? And if you are interested in developing your teacher leader skills, we would love for you to present, facilitate a session, volunteer, help out. So I hope you'll keep that in the back of your mind and just take a risk, jump in there and be a part of this. So thank you guys again for joining us. And I think now I'm going to toss it to, it's time for the best part, the fun part, the prizes.
Yay. Well, thank you so much for joining us again this week and giving us some feedback, and we look forward to reading through those things. We had such a fun time giving out prizes all weekend. We had so many great winners, and the enthusiasm around those was so fun to watch. So again, thank you for your participation and using that hashtag. That really helped us out to find some great prize winners. So a couple of prizes left for today. We have 2 $25 Amazon gift cards left. And the first one is going to go to Jason Kirchmer. I hope I pronounced your name right. So please correct me if I'm wrong, but congratulations, Jason. And then one to Natasha Hevelone. So congratulations to Natasha. So yay. We'll be sending those, I believe, through email, getting you the codes for those. So congratulations. And thank you again for joining us. And am I throwing it to anyone, or are we just giving some time to fill out that feedback form?
I think we're good. Yeah,
Golden.
feedback
All right.
form and Jamboard, jump on those 2 places, and we'll kind of hang in here if you have any questions before you leave.
Woo!
And then I'll send out one last email. There you go. You can unmute and show your excitement.
Thank you.